Dan RadioStyle, hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Improving your law of attraction experience. Kind of an interesting topic for me. I don't know. It's more of a discussion on some of the different principles that I think really do make a big difference, at least have in my life, as far as manifesting. Some more interesting things happened last night, and I just kind of laughing to myself because it's like, really, once you get this ball rolling, things just start to happen. You can call it coincidences, you can call it whatever you want, but when things unfold in front of your life, when certain situations pop up before you, and they're things you've thought about, they're things that are nice, maybe flattering, maybe whatever, right? Like all these different sorts of feelings can come from these neat experiences that we generate in our lives. And when we understand that these principles, law of attraction, for example, focus-based universe primarily, really a better way to look at it, but these principles really change lives. And when we start paying attention to how we're using them, how we're behaving, what we're thinking, all those things will start to unfold miraculous changes in our lives, and things will start to happen. So where do we get into this? Like, how do we kind of start to break down some of these key components? One of the things that I think is a big component that a lot of people question, a lot of people don't fully understand, is the idea of, as I like to call it, to be LOA or not to be LOA, right? That's the question. Or to do LOA or not to do LOA. A lot of us are under this impression that when we do the techniques, that's when we're doing the creating. That we don't do creating if we're not doing the techniques. And that's completely false. The techniques are meant to help form and formulate and streamline the thought process, the emotional process, really trying to key in on some of the core key ingredients to what manifesting, like what happens when you manifest, how it works. So techniques are meant to really take advantage of that and really help hone the direction that we're focusing. But focus is what creates our realities. Always. 100% of the time. Even when you're sleeping, if you're focusing on something, you're probably putting power towards it. Now, granted, it's more of a subconscious thing, but I'm assuming it still plays. But whatever. It's kind of more of a crazy circumstance. But whatever we think about during the day is what we create. Kind of talked about it recently. Might have been yesterday's show. Not sure. But when we are thinking about two opposing things, say, I'm thinking about being back with my specific person, and I'm thinking my fear of not getting back with my specific person. You know, maybe they won't forgive me. Maybe we get angry and we fight, but I still want to be with you. I keep thinking about you. I want to be with you. We keep fighting. You're right. So there's a lot of people that are under this impression that, well, one of these will win out. One of these, like whatever one I think of more than 50% of the time, I've heard that thrown about many, many times, and I've done a show on it not long ago. It's not that whatever one wins out. It's a focus-based universe. You focus on this and you focus on that, you're getting both of those. You're creating both of those environments. So for a lot of us that have these weird moments where we're up and down, where we're close and then far, then close and then far, then close and then far. That's because we're all over the place with our focus. One's not winning out over the other. That's not how it works. What you focus on is what you create. If you focus on this for 10 minutes, well, you've put some energy towards it. You're probably going to experience something with that. If you focused on this for 30 minutes, you've put definitely more energy towards it, and you're definitely going to experience that too. If I focus on this for 15 minutes, well, I'm putting good energy towards it. I'm going to experience that as well. If these things contradict each other that I'm focusing on, it doesn't matter to the universe. Universe is like, all right, well, that's what you're thinking about. That's what we're going to give you more of. So for a lot of us, we're bouncing around in things because we don't understand. It's not which one wins out. I swear I've been positive more than I've been negative. Yeah, but you're still negative a lot. And as I've said before, it's not the negativity that's the problem. It's what we do with it that's the problem. You're going to have negative thoughts. They're going to pop into your head. You're going to think things that aren't towards your goal. You're going to think things at times that are a contrast to what you desire. It's going to happen. It is natural to happen. Yeah, it's not preferred, but it's natural. It's okay. First off, it's okay to do that. It's okay to have those contrast thoughts. What we do with those thoughts, that is where we get ourselves in trouble. Now, a lot of us have that negative thought and we freak out. Oh my God, I had a negative thought. It's a negative thought. Oh my God, I'm going to ruin everything. Everything's bad. I just screwed up on my whole manifestation. Nothing's going to happen ever again. Right? When you go down that path, you're definitely making life worse for yourself. When you have that negative experience and you go, yeah, oh, right, okay, I've been doing some stuff I don't want to, focusing back on what I would like to experience. Obviously, I don't want to do more of that. Contrast, good, like it. Contrast is my friend. So, all right, we get back to focusing on what I do want to do. I'm not scared. No, whatever. We're definitely getting back together, right? Maybe that was the fear that popped into my head. Oh, no, but we'll never get back together. You're not good enough, Dan. And I'll be like, whoa. Oh, yeah, I am. It's okay. Woo, where'd that come from? Yeah, I'm totally good enough, right? Throw some affirmations, right? Just try to undo that direction, if you will. Get yourself back on track, and everything's fine and groovy. Everything's fine and groovy. It's when we panic about it. It's when we try really hard not to have negative thoughts. If you're trying really hard to avoid something, you are drawing that something to you. Hey, you want to try to manifest your SP faster? Try to avoid them. See what happens then. Try to stay away from them. Try to manifest the opposite. Try to, I don't want to see you. And then you'll be friggin' seeing them everywhere. Now, they may not want to see you when you do it that way, but it is funny how the opposite sometimes creates that. Because we do it when we're trying to manifest love, right? And then we find that we're in this absence of love sometimes, right? And that's annoying, right? At the same time, if you try to avoid something, you bring more of that something with you. It's kind of a catch-22, right? Like, okay, well, I want my SP, but I'm going to try to avoid her. Ha, 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 universe, I will mess with you. And for the most part, it will work. You will actually bring more encounters with them. You don't, again, necessarily improve the quality of those encounters, but if you're trying to avoid something, you will bring that something to you often. So when we get to that panicky, right? When we get worried, I've got to try to keep negative away. No, don't worry about it. Just relax, breathe in the nose and out the mouth. Relax for a second, because all of this angst, all this worry, all this crazy is not benefiting you at all. Now, why the negative things are happening? That's a key ingredient there. That's something to be paid attention to. Don't freak out about it. It's a contrast. It's good. And oftentimes, it's an example of one of these things that needs attention. So maybe it's self-love, right? Maybe you're having this moment where you keep finding that thought that pops into your head, that negative thought is based around, I'm not good enough, they're not going to like me, they won't forgive me, I'm not worthy, whatever. And that gives you a very key understanding into what inside of you still needs work. So a lot of us are like, well, I've done all my self-love. I've done plenty of self-love, but I'm not good enough for them and I don't get it. It's like, well, no, you haven't. That's why I've talked before too. When you're coaching others, it's important to just let them talk. Let them express and explain and talk about what they're doing, and they'll tell you what they're not doing, always, and then they'll follow up doing what they say they're not doing. So you've got to pay attention to what's actually happening. What's causing that negative spike? Again, the negative spikes are okay. They're going to happen. It's not the end of the world. What you do with it is the difference. So if we just use the affirmations, get ourselves back on track, bitching, you're fine, you're on your way, life is going to be groovy. If you panic about it, you're creating more of it. If you're trying to keep negativity out of your life, you're going to bring more negativity to you. If you try to focus on more positivity in your life, you will find more positivity. Interesting how it works. So again, one of those things that makes an enormous difference. Now, probably last, and certainly not least, but last on this whole trying to understand the mechanics and really trying to understand what is it that we're doing here when it comes to manifesting. A lot of us talk about different techniques, right? There's all these different techniques. There's someone that's coming out with a new technique every other way, every other day. I've even tried to mix a few techniques and tried to kind of create my own little fun techniques. I've shared a couple of those. I've shared lots of techniques that other people do. I mean, the 55 times 5 was one of them. The cups, there's 2 cups or whatever, right? And you put the water in them. I did that one. Like, we've done a whole bunch of stories on these different techniques. Imagining from, living in the end, all of this stuff. And a lot of people wonder, what technique's better? What technique's the best? What technique's going to get me there the quickest? It's really not the technique that gets you there the quickest. Techniques are great. Techniques matter. Like I said earlier, they focus our energies in a proper direction. They help us create and manifest what it is that we're after. It doesn't turn on. It's not a light switch when I'm doing the technique and I'm like, all right, law of attraction on. Ding. All right, imagining. Cool. Done imagining. Law of attraction off. Bah. Turn the switch back off and there we go. Yeah, no, doesn't happen like that. So it's not the technique that does it. It's the technique that works for you that does it. If it works for you, if it gets you into a happy place, if it feels good for you, if it's productive for you, if you end up, one, visualizing, all those things are helpful. Two, if it helps you kind of get into those extra sensory aspects to it. Now you can see it, now you can taste it, smell it, touch it, right? You can hear it. Like when you can add some of those extra sensory things that makes that reality more real that you're creating. So they're meant to try to inspire that. If they can get you into that place where you're able to imagine, you're able to spend a little quality time with yourself and work on it. If it's a vision board and you just enjoy cutting out pictures and flipping through magazines and be like, oh, that's going to be so fun. I'm going to cut that one out and put that on my vision board. Again, it's the process of what it does for you in your mind and your imagination. That is what the techniques are for. So if a technique doesn't seem to be working for you, and I mean doesn't seem to be working for you in that you're not able to visualize, you're not able to get to that place where you're feeling good about it, it's frustrating to you maybe, right? Like if it's doing that, then try another technique. If you're able to experience that, if you're able to envision these things, then that technique you're doing is fine. And the reason you don't have it yet is probably not the technique. And I'll guarantee it's not the technique. It's probably a mixture of your thoughts. You're probably all over the place. It depends. Again, that's why we're talking about this. I want you guys to get really good at looking at yourself, not asking someone outside of you, Dan, or someone else on this comment channel world, or some other famous person that's doing videos or whatever, right? Like, it's not that you need to ask them, what do I need to do? You have everything it takes to figure out what you need to do. You have the abilities within you. You have that skill within you. It's you that you're affecting. It's your life. So if anybody knows it better than anybody else, for at least, you do. You know it better. You know it best. So make sure that we're putting ourselves in the best place we can to be successful. So again, if you haven't accomplished what it is, but the technique you're using is getting you in that happy feeling place, then let's pay attention to all the other little thoughts you're having, all the times where you get scared, all the moments where you're trying not to think negative thoughts, because you can't, right? If you're trying not to be negative, you're going to be more negative. If you're trying to be more positive, you're going to be more positive. You focus on what you would like to experience. Many of us doubt, many of us question, many of us disbelieve, many of us actually even have limitations that are built into our whole belief structure. Like, this can't happen because of one of the common ones I get, and there's no offense to the people out there, but religious differences. There's different sects or castes or religions, and sometimes those don't mix really well. And that's a belief structure. That's not necessarily something that limits. Someone can walk away from strict religious belief and change their own lives. It's harder to do, right? Because you've got to walk away from something that's ingrained in you. I was brought up very religious. I was brought up in that whole God hates you, make sure you do right or else. Make sure you get into confession often enough so you keep your soul clean just in case you die unexpectedly. You don't want to end up in purgatory for 100 billion years, right? Again, it's Catholics. We have all sorts of cool little, we have like a waiting room to heaven. It's pretty sweet. But that being said, coming from that standpoint, I had to undo some of those beliefs. I had to literally step back from some of these things and be like, well, I've got a relationship with creator, source, universe, whatever, and it's awesome, and I love it, and I spend all sorts of times connected to this. And after understanding that, realizing, it's not quite what I've been told. This is more the experience I have, and that's kind of what I'm going to go with. I'm tired of people saying, no, this is how it should be. It's like, well, that's not my experience of it. So you believe that, that's fine. I'm okay with you believing whatever you'd like, but it doesn't work for me. So I'm going to find something that works for me. So again, sometimes we've got things that are holding us back that are not the techniques at all. Hopefully this kind of helps round out that whole understanding of what's really going on with law of attraction and really the key ingredients to being successful in manifestation. Honestly, like I was saying when I started this whole thing, the experience I had yesterday, it was just funny to me, but ultimately what it comes out to, this is the simplest I can make it, and I really do think this is a big part of how the world works. What we send out comes back. If you're sending out junk, junk's coming back. If you're sending out good stuff, good vibes, you're good to people, you're just good in general, you see an animal, a little dog, and you walk by and you're like, hi, little doggy. Like, you're just in touch with nature, with love, with life, and that's what you're constantly expressing. Trust me, your experiences that you get back from life are vastly different from those that are grumpy, always upset, looking for the free ride, looking for the easy way. Like, that kind of mentality, when you're pushing out that into the universe, I'm looking for the easy way, I'm looking for the quick money, you're going to get all sorts of crazy scams, all sorts of crazy, like, you're going to manifest that stuff back to you because you're looking to cheat things. If you just put it out and just trying to be a good person, want to be good to others, here's an opportunity, someone's coming up to me and asking me for help, or here I am having a conversation with a random stranger, I wonder why, what's this about? Well, let's just be cool and nice to them and see. And you will find that some of the most amazing doors get opened when you really just start to go with the flow. When you let go of the riverbanks, right? You're holding on for dear life because the river will take me down. And you let go. At first, you're going to start to kind of tumble. You'll bounce off the bottom and the rocks. And then eventually, you kind of float and go with the flow. And now you're not hitting anything. You're just flowing with the river, right? You're not on the bottom. You're not on the top. You're just flowing. That's when you finally stop resisting and everything really starts to come into play and starts to make sense. So what we put out is what we get back. What we focus on is what we create more of. Those are the basics. That's about as simplified as I truly think you can make law of attraction. If you improve what you focus on, and if you improve the quality of what you're sending out. I've talked about thought transmissions. It's a good example. Look, thought transmissions on my channel. I've done probably 8 or 9 videos on it, right? If what you're sending out is crap, you're getting crap back. It's not the technique. It's not those things. It's what we're sending out. If we're grumpy and frustrated and angry, but we're still trying to manifest our SP back, those are contradictory things. You can't manifest love and happy when you're grumpy and angry. Those don't work. So work on the grumpy, angry. Work on being nice. Forgive whatever it is that you got to do to get yourself to the place where you actually can be successful. That is what you're trying to do. Look inward. Look at yourself. Look in the mirror. It's all about you. You are the reason that you're doing well. You are the reason that you're not doing well. You are the reason. It's you. Us pushed out, they say, all that stuff. But ultimately, it's what we're putting out into the world is what we're getting back. If we focus on improving that, life will improve drastically. Hopefully this makes a difference. If you like, please hit, thumbs up, always. Comments, any sort of videos that you would like me to do in the future, put those in the comments as well. If you can and you see someone making a comment and you feel like you've got something nice to say in relation to that, then help them out. Always a good time. I like to consider these things kind of more of a community, so please. And if you haven't subscribed, click a little picture of my face at the end, put the little ringy button, ringy tone things next to the bell, and that'll let you know every time I do any new videos. You'll get a notification, and it'll pop up and say, hey, Dan RadioStyle just put something out there. So hopefully that makes a difference. Thanks, everyone, for joining me. We got another great video coming for you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.